everyone. Happy New Year's and welcome to the Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara.
I'm Wanda.
I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Ron.
I'm Jay.
And today, wow, we are here to discuss a big one. It's the season 1 finale of PowerBook 2 Ghost, titled Heart of Darkness. And it's a lot to talk about, guys.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dark hearts in this one.
So if you guys hang tight, we'll be right back with you.
One burnt you, know that ain't cool. Wanna show you how I'm nothing like him. Swear that's the truth. So you can't trust that I won't.
All right, everyone, we are back. Like I said, we are talking about PowerBook 2, season 1 finale, Heart of Darkness. This episode was so convoluted. It had a lot of going on with the plot. It was kind of like, again, I said this about a couple of episodes, but it felt like it was more than an hour because of how much was going on. What did you guys think?
I think it was a little more than an hour because I looked at it and it was like, because I watched it on demand too. It was like an hour and 8 minutes or something. So it was a little over an hour.
Well, I think convoluted is probably the perfect word for this finale. It was a chock full of nuts of things going on. And, trying to piece things together, in my mind, I was like, okay, so if this happens, then this has to happen. Oh, no, that didn't happen. This happened. Oh, wait a minute. We got to now backtrack. So I was at the edge of my seat. Now, to say that it was a great show, it was a great show. I just didn't feel like it was a finale. In my opinion, there was just a lot of unanswered or open-ended situations.
Yeah,
to lead you into the next season.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's to lead you to the second season.
And the spinoff for Tommy.
Yeah.
Right. That were out there. I mean, like you said, we all kind of felt, I think everybody started talking last week about Tommy coming back. So, I mean, we got Tommy back. We saw he's like, look, I'm going to kill Tasha one way or the other. So you got that storyline. Kane was hyped now because he saw what Tariq did. So we got kind of some closure on their. He's going to probably fall back on Tariq now that he knows that he's all in. And if you see when he got basically when Monet came and got him and took him and they went away at the end of the episode, he's part of their family now. It's kind of like a federation of the Ghost had in the beginning of the family. So I felt like they tied up the ends. I thought it was
I thought so too.
I was
Is this your moment?
Listen, I've been hard.
This is my moment. What did you say, Jay? Well, I'm waiting for the moment. I've been waiting all season for you to say to give me my what?
Be careful, Jay. You'll never live it down. You'll never live it down, Jay. Just be careful.
Because listen, I still say the same thing I said in the beginning. They started off kind of whack. The first 4 or 5 episodes were not, to me, going the way they should have went. But the second half, they definitely picked up. It's always better to finish strong than to start strong and finish weak. So I thought that the season actually finished very strong. I thought that, Tariq accepting that he is a monster, he is a killer, that gives a whole different bend. I could definitely appreciate where they went with that. You see that they the whole, and I mean, I don't want to surmise the whole thing, but I'm just saying, you see Tasha's storyline is we know where it's going. We know where all these storylines are going, and I feel like they really did. They brought it together. They did well.
I think they really did a very good job in modeling Tariq. I was really amazed at how they brought this character to full spectrum in the final episode. I mean,
can we talk about that too, about Tariq and his growth? Because literally he went from being the most hated person of the whole Power universe to being like, okay, he's the lead. He's taking the lead. I can, support him.
But
because he's a kid.
But when he said to his mother that he's a killer, that 100%.
I felt that.
Yeah.
100%.
I felt that. I was like, well, didn't we say that a few episodes ago? We said Tariq was a serial killer. I was like, he's a serial killer. He dropped a couple bodies. Now he has a third body. He's a serial killer.
Yeah,
This was a little bit different though, because like it seemed like all of the other deaths that happened, it was kind of part of the circumstances. It was like he was involved, but he didn't necessarily always do the dirty work. And he didn't always necessarily make he did do dirty work. I'm saying, but this was him showing his ruthless side. Like he really had a choice there, whether he could spare Jabari or not. And
at that point, his hand was forced because there was no way to leave Jabari alive after Cain already shot him.
Well, the interesting part about Jabari is, and this is what I wanted to discuss, have a discussion about, is that Jabari pretty much laid down just about everything to Tariq in terms of his.
He put it all on the table.
That's why I knew he was going.
He signed his own death warrant.
Yeah, he did. And my question was, how did he find out all that? I mean, now we all know, and we said earlier in the episodes that, if Tariq is going to be a kingpin, he can't have his hands that dirty. He can't be that involved. And here's the reason why. Because now Jabari knew everything about what Tariq was doing, and unfortunately, he had to lose his life because of it.
But can we celebrate the fact that Jabari's gone? Can we take a second and celebrate?
Remember that? Yeah.
We all knew it was coming. We all seen it a mile away.
Yeah, but we got here. I mean, this is progress.
Yeah.
We still got Carrie, but we got rid of Jabari. I'll take it.
Oh, Carrie's coming. She's going too next season.
She's next.
But I was gonna say, when I watched the IG live with Courtney, I don't know if you guys seen that.
I saw it.
Somebody asked a question about how do you know when to kill someone off, and he said the characters by their own death. And like LaWanda just said, when he laid out everything for Tariq like that, I was like, he's out of here. I said he's out of here because he knows too much. And then you want to write a book about it? I was like, oh yeah, he gotta go. He gotta go. And you wonder how he knows everything. He downloaded Course Correct. He followed Tariq, and also Zeke and Carrie were next door, and he was ear hustling. He heard what Zeke said too, so he was able to put all of that together.
Yep. Yeah, and Everett helped him piece it together too with the whole thing that went down at the nightclub.
Yes.
Yeah. So I agree with you there. I was just thinking, like, if Tariq, if he's anything like Ghost, where Ghost has that compassionate side, I don't think Tariq got that.
No, but Ghost.
No, he has it too, because he protected Diana.
He did, but I'm talking about when it comes, like last week he sent Epiphany away. Now that he showed some compassion there, but in terms of like Jabari and people who know too much.
But he couldn't. There was no compassion. There was no compassion to be had. He put him in a position where he cornered him. And what he said,
and you heard it when he said it. He said, "Why'd you have to follow me? Why'd you have to ask me these questions?" That's what he was saying it out loud. Like, if he would have just minded his business and stopped being a stalker, he would still be here.
I agree. I just wonder what the blowback is going to be, because they're trying to now say that they're going to pin it on Ramirez.
Oh, it's
because they used Ramirez's gun to shoot him, but Tariq put his hands all over the gun.
They did.
I'm wondering about that, if that's going to come back.
He's probably going to wipe it down.
Yeah, he probably will. But also, how can you justify Ramirez being dead? If they ever do find Ramirez's body and they're able to determine a timetable of how long he was dead, then they will know that he wasn't able to kill Jabari. So that's what I'm wondering, if the forensics will play into that.
It wouldn't be something like if they found him a year later that they could pinpoint a day. And the thing about it is that I think, listen, it's over for that whole portion. They just want to exit that whole idea of what Rick was at the school and how that was going. He's going in a whole nother lane in the second season of it. I think that it was dope the way he did it. I think that Cain now respects him. He's just in a different space. I think, like you said, it will definitely come back because they'll have to write it back into the story. But the way he killed him, the way he took him off the set, he said, "Listen, I'm a different person now. You had your shot."
And I think the respect that Cain actually found after he saw what Tariq actually did, because I don't think the problem with Cain and Tariq, I don't think Cain ever really hated Tariq. What I believe it was is he saw how smart Tariq is. He saw how his mother accepted him, and that got up under him. Cain is one of those one for all. Look, it's either me or nobody else. because he just doesn't think things through. But I think that the best thing, well, I hate to say best, but it is. The best thing Tariq could have done for Kane was to pull the trigger on Jabari, because now Kane knows, oh, this dude is for real. He will kill.
And he knows he's not a rat.
Yeah, and he's not a rat. If he's going to get dirty, you know, that's the number one thing. When you're in a gang, if you're willing to get dirty, you accept it.
I think that also with Kane, because like what he said to Mary when she walked in on him, he was like, you know, I'm part of the family too. You know, you never realized that all you really needed was me. And so I think that he has like a little jealousy there with Tariq, because it's like, you're taking my spot.
Right.
But it's also a little bit of envy because Monet is showing him favoritism. But also I think with Kane, especially when it comes down to going forward, I'm just hoping, because like he seems like, oh yeah, like Tariq did his thing, I can trust it. Well, I don't know if he can trust him, but he's like, I can definitely see that he's not like a fluke. And so I wonder if Kane will start pressuring Tariq more to be more of an enforcer for him.
Well,
because I think Kane likes to see people like into stuff, just like how he got Guap doing his dirty work. I could see Kane trying to son Tariq and trying to be like, okay, well, if you don't do this for me, then I'm gonna do this. Like trying to play tit for tat with him.
Well, I think trust is earned, and as far as Kane is concerned, with Tariq, he earned that trust. I mean, you know, he took out Jabari, so that's going to speak volumes with Kane, I think.
But how does that move things forward? Because Kane is on the outside, unless they're moving it towards them setting up their own operation out, you know, outside of Monet, what Monet has going on.
Well,
so
remember,
it seems
Lorenzo
like Tariq was trying to create a compromise situation for him. Like, I'll cover the whole Ramirez situation up. I'll clean it up for you. It seems like Tariq is trying to pull Kane in,
right,
and get him back good with the family.
And Lorenzo wants that anyway. Right.
And so that's what I'm seeing. Like, I'll get you back in good with your family if you do this for me. And then the other thing that Kane has going for him is that Lorenzo is also telling Monet, like, you need to bring Kane back in. You need an enforcer. You need, you know, some protection. And so I think that Monet will probably pull Kane back in, but at a distance. She's gonna definitely keep him at a distance.
I wanted to ask him about the Kane thing. When Kane stayed and watched Tariq kill Jabari, and you know, Tariq had told him to go someplace else where he can be seen by other people, but he stayed, I guess, to make sure that Tariq did it. But part of the reason I was talking to my son about this, I felt like when he was smiling at the end, I'm like, yeah, he was pleased that Tariq did it. I felt like he overheard Tariq when Tariq was saying, I killed my father to protect. Like, he said all these personal things. And I felt like in his mind, Kane felt like he had one up on Tariq. Like, oh, I know something. You know, I know something about this dude to hang over his head.
Yeah, that could be true. He definitely gonna tuck that in his back pocket.
Yes. I would, because not many people know that Tariq, other than Monet and Tasha in the lawyers, but the common people, Braden and everybody else, the general public does not know that Tariq killed his father.
Well, Riley kind of hinted at it.
I think it's more of a feather in Tariq's hat as far as Kane is concerned. I mean, not many people go around offering their father. So, you know, if I'm Kane, I'm looking at that and going, oh, wow, this dude done killed his dad. So Kane got too much dirt to be trying to one up on anybody. But I
mean, I know me one up him with his family.
No, I understand, but I think
now, because if you listen to what Monet says, so you did kill your father, they all know. It's not like there's no secret in whether he killed Ghost. The only thing that they needed was what they got, meaning that Tommy kind of laid it all out. He said, we all know what happened here. He said, y'all rolled over on me, but basically we know you did the crime. Everybody knows what Tariq did. Nobody's confused. I think that Kane respected him because he said, listen, you dirty, you get busy. And he's like, okay, I judged you this whole time. And so I think he was, almost overjoyed to find out that he was wrong. And now, see, the way that I do like this, what they're doing. They're going with the idea that Tariq's going to be the smarter ghost. So they're trying to give him the whole, you know, lay out the chessboard and do your thing. And I think you saw in the last episode before we even got to this one, where he was making the moves, where he sent the stripper away, where he was doing different things on his mother's back. And we knew coming into this episode, this was going to be something that he had to get out of court because he was basically in that zone where he was going to be in trouble. I don't know that it was like realistic in the sense of with the judge allowing him to just start spouting out all that he was spouting out without it being, kind of 4 minutes.
Right.
But what I do say is that if you just want to go basically on what he was doing, he has a strategy basically that was solving all the problems for everybody who was in a situation in this episode. He got Tommy in the witness protection program. He got Tommy, out of situation where they're looking for him right now. He got Kane out of his scenario. He brought all of these different pieces together, and I do say that you can see that the character in season 2, if they write him well, he's going to be able to take that over and actually be a better version of Ghost. I like the character of Ghost better than him, but I do feel like strategy of Tariq is getting better.
I still think, and I said that before, he's got to get an army. He's going to have to pull away from some of the dirty doings of the day-to-day routines.
But that's what he's doing. That's what he's doing with the Takata family. I mean, to me, what they symbolize in the ending of the thing when they pulled up and he like basically took him home, and so they're going to go build this empire, and he's going to be an intricate part of the empire, of course, because they need him. He's positioned himself in a place where they actually need his help as much as them. And actually maybe even more so now because he needed the money before because of his mother. But now he doesn't need that anymore.
Right.
So,
now he's just doing it.
But you know what? I'm going to make an early prediction. I don't think Tasha is going to go to that witness protection program. I think she'll send her mother and her daughter. I think she's going to come back and try to find a way to get him.
Daughter behind though.
She
left the daughter behind. She was going for Dolo because she made, if you listen to what she was saying at the end of the episode, she said Yaz is going to be better off living a life. Like she could actually go live a life and see Tommy's never going to come and try to harm those two.
No, he's not.
Just looking for Tasha. So Tasha is no longer, she's the only one in danger is what I'm trying to say.
Right. And that's why he didn't want Yaz with.
Yeah. Plus, 3 of them now.
And Sax planted that seed because when Sax was in the back seat, he was just like, yeah, when you're in witness protection and you got the kids, you got to change rules, you got to keep moving. And you can see that it sparked something. She was like, nah, I don't want that for her. So she was being a G with that.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to know why in the hell Sax sat up at that particular point in time where, of course, Tommy was able to see that, and now it's all a setup. Tommy knew it was a setup anyway. Yeah, Tariq set that up.
Yes, it was all part of the plan.
Right, it's just from the analogy of the screen. I mean, screenwriting or the entertainment of it. I'm just like, well, why would you pop up like that at that particular point in time? It didn't make a lot of sense to me.
Sax is a dummy anyway. I mean,
that is also.
Why was Riley in court unless he was going to call her to the stand?
Well, exactly. Yeah, that was really crazy.
So
I think initially he was going a different direction with the prosecution and what she was there to speak, and then what ended up happening was that Tariq flipped it on.
Exposed, right?
Talked about her, drugging him. He talked about him being followed by Sax. And so at the end of the day, I think that they were going one direction. And I
think so too.
The whole process.
But there would have been no way to explain how Sax would involve
his niece. That's what I was going to say. Either way, I think he would have been exposed if he had gone that route.
Either way.
The problem with Sax is he can just never settle for good enough, especially even after the whole thing was settled. And he was like, well, I still got one more day as U.S. attorney.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, dude, you getting some, and you gonna jump out of bed to go chase Tommy? I'm like,
yeah, he always does the most.
That was a last ditch effort. He thought that if he had gotten Tommy, that he might
could get back into the job. The day he'd be able to keep his job.
Now, what do you think about him and Davis officially teaming up? Him working for Davis and Davis telling him. Yeah, you heard Davis on the way out. Grab whatever you need on the way out. Talking about stealing government files and stuff.
Which is a federal crime all in it. I mean, the man just can't seem to walk a straight line no matter what he does. Now he's going to take federal records, which is a crime, a big crime. And, you know, I really want to see how that plays out because.
And I gotta put Davis on to get the hands.
Nobody is following the law. You have a Democratic Party operative that basically came in there and told a judge what to do.
Yeah.
He sure did.
I'm not as concerned about him taking these records at this point.
Right. You'll be assigned to Utica, Nina. And he called her by her first name too. Nina, you will be.
Yeah.
I was like,
I think all of them can get the hands this week. Every single one.
that's exactly why I wore my shirt today. It says, I'm protecting my peace, but you can catch these hands. So
Yeah,
all of them can be on the
Especially
hands
Davis
list.
was setting up that press setting when
Yeah.
Tasha walked out the gates of jail.
It
and
made
he's
it
sitting
hot
up
for
here making it
Tasha.
hot for her. Yeah.
Hey, but let
You
me
know
ask
who else?
Made him look good. That's all he cared about.
Okay,
You know who else is on?
let me ask
sorry,
a
go
question
ahead.
about Tariq possibly handing over the college drug scene to Braden.
Well, I think he did that before when he thought that he was going to go on the run with Tasha. He was really uncertain where he was going to end up. So he was trying to set the stage for that. But once he told Tasha, like, look, I'm a man, I got to do what I got to do. He
Right.
stayed and figured out a plan to work it out. And I think that ultimately, once things settle down, he's going to let Monet meet Braden, let her feel him out, and Braden will probably still continue. But I think Tariq is going to have a bigger role than just running course correct.
Well, first I gotta give my props to Monet. She used her gun and she used it wisely. And, you know, so I was really, really happy to see that she wasn't just pointing it this week. You know, she did her thing. She did her thing. So
Okay, who got the balls to be pointing a gun at me?
yeah.
She was like, I don't need no balls. I'm like, okay, Monet.
Can
And
I
I like
say?
how she stood up because it seemed like so often, like her as a woman, they be trying to, you know, downplay her role. And so she's like letting it be known, like, look, I'm a boss, okay? I don't need the backup. I am the backup.
If you saw what she did, she didn't bring Kane back in like she was told. She was doing everything, defying all. This was her coming into her own episode as well. She came into her own. Tariq came into his own. I think that, like I said, Kane had to understand he had to fall kind of in a position with them. He couldn't, you know, overrun everybody. I think that the idea what they're doing now is that Monet is actually going to have a position where her and Tariq will be able to together kind of mastermind what goes on next. Because he's give her all of the practical information that's going to help her propel it. But now she has the know-how to say, I got control of the situation and I'm not allowing anybody to take that anymore.
She already took
Let me say the guy
when Jackie Long's character was out there trying to, you know, be very sexually suggestive with her. She did it all that, and she did it him. So,
but the guy that was supposed to be checking her down, let me say this. Dummy. I mean, you know, she told you, she said, fool, do your job. Apparently he didn't do it. And you know, that was a surprise. That I did not expect her to shoot Rico. I didn't.
I knew he was going to die.
I knew he was going to die, but I didn't think he would die like that. Because she supposedly got checked down. So
well, you know what? It's funny that you mentioned that because I think like with Monet, it's interesting how her character is like hardcore, but she picks and chooses when to be maternal. So she was telling Rico, like, you came after my kids. Like you didn't think I was gonna let you get away with that, right? She was telling Lorenzo. But then when Tasha came and talked to her and Tasha was pleading with her trying to buy Tariq out, and she was like, Tariq is a grown man. He came to me, business. And so it's like, it's funny that she was like very protective of her own, like especially Drew and Diana, protective of her own children, but she wasn't willing to see, like, not necessarily see Tasha's side, but she wasn't willing to change her position. Like
she saw it because you can see it in her face.
it.
She struggled with it, but she trusts Tariq now. She like, he mine now.
She said, I need him. She needs Tariq. See, the thing is this, like he said, course correction is the only thing that's actually keeping them afloat right now because of all that they got going on. So she knows now if she let him go, that's like letting the business go. And she doesn't pain anymore. Drew and Diana are not in that position. So she's like, look, almost like a Sarah, my boy now. She literally said he belongs to me now. That's it's too late. Like that's over with now.
I like how when
aren't in that position, I think she might have sided a little bit with Tasha, like, okay, but the fact that she's in a bad spot right now, she's like, I can't.
She tripped me out when Tasha walked up and she put her hand out like, hold up. hold up, like you in my space.
Right.
I was like, I heard that. She's like,
Yeah.
But it seems like
don't
Tasha
take
got
another
in her
step.
head- Tasha got in her head a bit too when she was kind of sharing her experience about what she went through with Ghost. And I think Monet was probably already on that, already figuring out that she was going to have to do things on her own and not necessarily be controlled by Lorenzo. And so I think Tasha, I think they kind of spoke to her and made her think about it. Like, if something happens to him, I don't want to be out like you. I don't want to be in the position that you were in.
Yep, that's true. I think it's the other thing about Monet's situation, when it comes down to how she's dealt with Tommy, because like she told Tommy, well, she told Tasha, she was like, I don't go into business with anybody that I don't really know anything about. So she kind of had already had Tasha's background. But when it came down to Tommy, it seemed like she wasn't quite as familiar with him. So I
don't think she know them.
That's why I was like, well, I know you're not doing business with him, but it's still hard for me to believe that she don't know who Tommy and Ghost were.
And I would think he would have had a reputation.
I will always have a problem with it. If you want to know why I had my beef with the first 5 episodes, it was precisely that. How could you ever have somebody who's supposed to be as big as they were, who were on federal crime charges? They were all over the news. You know, Ghost had like murder charges, and all these things happened. And you in the drug business. I mean, listen. We're not talking about carpentry or something. You guys are killing it. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all, did y'all watch Courtney's IG Live? I'm about to clear it up right now because Courtney addressed that.
Okay.
Courtney addressed that. She said, I keep hearing all this about why folks don't know who Ghost is. They heard of Ghost. They did not know Ghost was James St. Patrick. And she said, and that's the point where everybody is not getting. She said, plus, what's it called? Monet is from Brooklyn and this, that, and the other. You know, Ghost was off the scene. Like Ghost was the New York distributor. She said the only people that knew Ghost, knew that Ghost was James St. Patrick was like Ruiz and stuff. Those handful of people. These other people do not know that Ghost was James St. Patrick.
Okay. I'm gonna poke
understand.
a whole story right now though. If they knew that James St. Patrick was on trial, let's say you stepped away from the whole Ghost persona. This on trial for a huge crime. He was basically,
and he beat the case. He got mad.
He was on trial, right? And he was a governor, not governor, but
lieutenant governor.
Lieutenant governor.
He was in the running.
That if you were in the know of anything, you would at least have known this guy was into some stuff and that he was heavyweight. Now, that's one. Then 2, Tommy Egan was known in the streets. It wasn't like he was not like a mystical character. He was in
Tommy was known in the streets,
and people knew him. So I think that she got a hole in that story. I think that she didn't write that way, and so she covered it up with that ideology. But if you look at it, James Patrick alone should have held that weight. And I want to say,
and I'm in agreement. I'm in total agreement with you because of the fact that you may not know that Ghost is James St. Patrick. You may not know that from a knowledge standpoint. But of course, when they were at court and Tamika was saying, when they were trying to bring the charges about Ghost, the names are going to come up. They're going to come up. James St. Patrick and Ghost are going to be tied. The whole point is,
but they never proved that he was Ghost. They
like
always speculated that he was Ghost.
Wait a minute, I just said though earlier. I said you don't know for a fact, but if you are in the streets and you are a drug pen. You would have heard something.
Because Tay, remember when Tay did the background check, he found out something about him. So, I mean,
he found out from the streets, though. He found out from the streets. He ain't find out with no basic background check.
But that's where you want to find out. It's the streets is
so
going to
again, it goes to what we're saying. The street knew. The street,
right?
Yeah, and that's where your knowledge base is. You're not going to read it in the Washington Post or the New York Times.
No, I hear you. When she said that she's Brooklyn based.
Brought up
the prison pipeline.
Brought up Ghost's name at the trial as well. They also said they tried to infer he was Ghost at the trial. I'm not going to say that it was the worst kept secret, but somebody knew, and you can't that after he died, especially. It was one thing if you were talking about while he was alive. I can almost buy your story while he was alive, but the moment he died, it should have been all over the streets that he was Ghost because all of the people that were under him, the underlings, they started putting it out there. If you understand what I'm saying, logically, there's no way that Ghost was as huge as he was, and even just James St. Patrick, the nightclub owner, lieutenant governor guy, who was, into whatever, people would have known this guy's hands were dirty. So when you got to Tariq and you knew that he was in the game, you would have at least drew some connections, started putting it together. But at the end of the day, I think that's a major hole to me in the story.
I think they're going to find out, because now that she knows that he killed his father and all that stuff, I think in the coming season that we're going to see them learning more about Ghost and James St. Patrick and stuff. Because I think that
he said Ghost never died. He said that at the cemetery. So
it's going to be really interesting too to find out what Monet does, or with the Tommy issue, because that's a powder keg right there.
Tommy really spared Tommy in that situation, because Monet was ready to off him. She like, look, you killed my man.
Right. For her, it was about that.
Right here in the spot. And so Tariq spared, like, Uncle Tommy, I don't want you dead. I know you're not gonna stop going after my mom. That's why I sent her as far away as possible. So I don't know. I just honestly, I was so happy to see Tommy this episode. Me too. He really brings this energy to his character, and it really lights up the screen. And so, like, as soon as I heard that Mini Men
playing, I heard Mini Men, man, I wanted to Millie Wop. I wanted the Millie Wop twerk, Diddy Bop, and some more stuff when I heard Mini Men.
I knew.
And then you see Tommy step out. He's like, if you don't, I told Ghost I wouldn't kill you, but I'll beat you down if you don't get up off my car. I was just so happy to see him.
I was too.
When he said that, I said, Tommy is back. I mean, that was a hell of a line. He said, I told him I wouldn't kill you, but I would kick your ass if you don't get up off my car. And I'm like, now that's Tommy.
Yeah, so I was so happy to see him back. And the speculation about his death, like, for a second, like, because I watched the episode at first, and of course I'm kind of taking notes throughout the episode so we can prepare for the show, but also I watched it back the second time and I'm like, okay, I got this. But on the first review, I was like, hold up, I know they're not about to kill Tommy like this, because I was disappointed in how Ghost died. And I was like, I know they're not about to take Tommy out like this.
No, he has a series coming, so he ain't gonna win.
Exactly. But for a second, my heart dropped, because Tommy is my boy.
Yeah, he's my boy too.
Yeah, I was happy to see that they found a plan for him to make a clean escape. But I'm looking forward to Tommy's series, because, like I said, he is just like the light of the episode. Like, he really brought that energy,
a power. Yes.
Yeah, the original power. Like, this is a good spinoff, and it has a good foundation, but it's like the original power. It pales in comparison. Like,
yeah, because the Ghost. I mean, when you put Ghost and Tommy together,
oh, it was magic on screen. I love seeing them together. That's why it was so difficult seeing them when they were beefing.
Yeah,
because I mean, it made for good TV, but at the same time, they were always at their best when they were working together.
Yeah, but energy had to have its ebbs and flows, because they were so different by the end. They had grown apart, and they see that contact when they would get back together, because it was almost like you said, humble themselves for a minute and be their old selves. And the contrast is what made that dope. I think that, like I said, this series, I'm not going to say it's definitely not PowerBook 1. Let's just take that off the table.
Yeah, we know that.
No, I'm just saying, how I felt about that. It's not PowerBook 1, but I will give them credit for this. They took the storyline and they took characters that, like they said, you took the least liked characters and turned them into something that was watchable. I'll give them kudos. I think that this was overall a good season. I think the beginning was real suspect. But
you made it clear.
No,
I think they was trying to set up the characters a lot, and that's what it was. Like, the first 5 episodes was really the foundation and the basis. And it's kind of like how PowerBook 1 was, season 1 of the original Power. It was a lot of setup episodes where we were learning about James, learning about Angela, learning about all the dynamics that put them in this situation. And I think because we already had that, and then we're going into this PowerBook 2, like, these new characters, we didn't really want to see the setup. We were just ready for them to pick up where they left off.
Yeah, because we had all of the backfill story already. This was supposed to almost be ready to go, because we understood Tariq, we understood Tasha, we understood all of those characters. What I will say is this: the Takada family. I understand why that would have been a little more of a slow build, because we needed to understand these characters and the dynamics that they had within their own crew. Mm-hmm. But as far as Tariq, they could have like explained it a little better. But I mean, again, I'm not even gonna go back into the first half. I think that they did what they had to do. I think that when they came back with these last 5 episodes, they were way better. You know, that's what I was telling Tiffany. I gave you your props. Season 5, they definitely made the pivot, and it worked. And I think that the ending to me leads to limitless possibilities. In that season 2 could easily be like way like 2 times better than this season was, because now we know, okay, Tariq understands his position. Now, what's he gonna do with that? We know that Monet is elevated to a next level. What's she gonna do with that? You know that Kane knows that he will never be the leader of this family. What's he gonna do with that? So everybody has a position right now, and we know what those positions are.
Well, the question that remains with me is, especially going into next season, how are they going to deal with the death of this boy at the pool, and then now having that campus drama elevated by the death of a professor? And so that's going to definitely affect the business going forward. They're not going to be able to just pick up and hit the ground running with course correct. That's almost dead, especially now that a professor has been murdered.
Yeah, those are definitely going to be tie-ins, because here you have, you know, this prestigious college community, and now you have 2 suspicious deaths, you know, not far apart from one another. And
they'll just time together, and they'll do something convenient to explain.
I had some thoughts about that with Carrie.
That's what I was just about to bring up with Carrie, because you know Carrie seems to think that she can control things and keep Zeke. A
lot of that was her fault. She's on my get the hands list too.
Yeah, I had mine too. Did y'all see that dress she had on with them cutouts in that high slit?
What?
I was like, what professor is wearing this to the school?
I said that too. It had a slit. It had cutouts on the side. I said that was a cute dress. But I was like, you don't wear that as no professor at school. But shout out to the Power Wardrobe though, because they are
has been on point.
As far as I'm concerned, I got a double shout out, because y'all might have had a problem with it, but I had no problem with it.
Of course you didn't, but no teacher will be wearing that in the classroom. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying is that this is why I said that the Carrie and the Jabari characters, I couldn't stand the way that they wrote them, because at the end of the day, like you said, who comes to work wearing something like that? And who keep putting themselves in these positions? When she sat there and tried to manipulate the situation with the information that was coming in from
Everett.
I was like, this is the stupidest thing ever, because why are you in the middle of it on that level? Let it play out, play stupid, collect the information, and do what you have to do with it on the back end so that you stay out the middle of it.
Yeah.
She puts herself directly in line for idiot programs every week. She
put Zeke in at risk and roped the basketball players in for interviews. So I was like, she definitely gets the hands.
Mm-hmm. And listen, they could haul off to jail next season. I wouldn't care.
Well, you know, she's in the same position. She put herself in the same position that Jabari put himself in. So, you know, if she's gone the next season, I wouldn't be at all surprised, because, you know, you can do too much.
She's probably gonna find that manuscript, and then she's gonna start poking around. You know, she's a former prosecutor, and that's gonna be her death.
But Monet didn't already talk to her about what's gonna happen if she don't keep her mouth shut.
Which is why I was
doesn't listen.
Right, which is why I was surprised to see her still boning Zeke, because I was like, now his aunt is with a drug cartel or whatever. She already paid you a visit, and she acknowledges you sleeping with her, and you still sleeping with him. Like, that's a death wish.
That's a death sentence. You just signed your own death warrant. You know, she's out. So it's just a matter of whether it's season 2, episode 1, or rather season 2, episode 1, or season 2, episode 2. She's out.
It's very clear that she loves playing with fire. So I don't think she's gonna learn her lesson.
They're gonna string it out, because what's gonna end up happening with her, in my opinion, is she's gonna want to know what happened to Jabari. She's gonna try to find out the real story.
Mhm.
I think that will be the storyline for season 2 for her. I think that, you know, as far as Tariq in season 2, he's gonna come out. He's definitely gonna stay in school because he needs to get that money. We can't, you know, that's always still on the bin. He wants the money that Ghost left him. So you know that he's gonna stay in school. Him and Braden are gonna figure out what works. You know what I'm saying, and what doesn't. And I think that, you know, the storyline is going the way it's already going. The momentum is there. Monet, she's gonna step up and she's gonna start controlling things. And you know, they initially said when the show started that Monet was supposed to become the next Ghost. Now I don't know exactly how they're gonna tie those things in. If it's gonna be where she's the elusive or if this is just a moniker, but we'll see where it goes from there.
Well, we still got one issue to deal with. What is Lorenzo going to do about the death of Ramirez?
Lorenzo's going to die too. Eventually, Lorenzo.
At the hands
I
of
think
King.
that now that Ramirez is dead, maybe the other police that that Lorenzo has working for him inside the jail, like maybe he'll be the new guy that will step up for Monet.
But what do you think will happen if he finds out that Kane?
The bigger question is, what do we think will happen if he finds out that, you know, that Ramirez and Mary was getting it on, because he already was like, you keep talking about him like you need him. He was peeping game.
He put it together already. He put it together.
Yeah, I think he put that together.
I
just want to.
But that's what I'm saying. Monet is really putting her position in place because, you know, Lorenzo, he's a boss on the streets, and he's not about to play with that kind of disrespect, especially coming from his wife.
But see,
so Monet better watch it.
But see, he told Monet to bring Kane back because she needs the muscle.
And the fact that she did it, that's like strike 2.
But that's under the assumption that Ramirez is still alive. So it would be interesting to find out or his thought process if he ever finds out that Kane actually killed Ramirez for really no apparent reason, and what to do with Kane, because that does show that he's a loose cannon, and you can't have somebody that loose in your organization. I don't care whether it's blood or not. He is too volatile. And
you heard Drew. Exactly. Drew was the only one that like really gave it to him straight. Like, no, Tariq ain't the problem. You're the problem. And that's why I rock with Drew the long way.
Yeah.
Monet told me.
Monet did tell him too. She was like, I can trust him, I can't trust you. But Drew broke it down for him. Like, no, it ain't about Tariq. It's you.
It's you.
The only other thing about this episode that I was thinking about, and I know we touched on it a little bit earlier, but this whole plan that Tariq came up with to set up Tommy to get, make it look like he died. Now, it seemed like the way it was set up, I don't know if someone called Davis and Sachs and like put the bug in their ear, like, oh yeah, Tommy's back in town, like we have an opportunity. But it just seemed like so convenient that everything just went according to plan, and it seemed like, how would you know that Davis and Sachs are going to want to go after him? How would it was just like a lot of questions.
Now, the way it played out was Davis said Kate Egan's car was stolen. Tommy Egan tried to kill my client. So that's what he said to Sachs. And then Sachs, that's when he jumped on and stuff. So he was, even though Davis is crooked, he was still acting in the interest of his client. Like Tasha probably put the bug and Davis said, Tommy tried to kill me today. So that was him doing his due diligence to the Fed saying, hey, Tommy Egan tried to come after my client today.
It's still a little sketch though, because I think Ron was talking about this off screen, but Tommy, he says that he pulled out some molars to like leave inside the car in the scene, but ultimately, like, is that enough? Because that's like, the body is not going to be there. Like, what else do they have to go off just besides the molars?
Bones, you gotta have a very high temperature for bones to just turn to ashes, and so it's just not realistic. And then the other thing too is Tommy doesn't leave behind loose ends. And if he feels that Tasha is a loose end as far as he's concerned, I just don't get it, because he's going to want
Do y'all know how close? And she's going to Arizona. He's on the West Coast in LA. Do y'all know how close Arizona is to LA? That's going to be the whole storyline. That's going to be part of the storyline of his show. Watch. He's going to go after Tasha in his season.
I agree.
In Force.
I agree.
Arizona is very close to LA.
Very.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to his spinoff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's interesting that they're going to do Raising Kanan before they do Tommy's. So I'm not sure about like how the timeline is, of whether Tommy's season is going to pick up from him, being supposedly dead in New York. As far as they're concerned, it probably will, so that he can have a clean start in LA, not having to look over his shoulders. So overall, I did enjoy this episode, though. I was very happy to see Tommy back. I was glad that things have been set up so that next season it's just like, it's already, the stage is set. We shouldn't have too many like fluff episodes where we're doing backstories. They should be able to just hit the ground running for PowerBook 2, season 2. So I was very happy with how they set Tariq up, to be more of a lead character, more of a decision maker, more of an enforcer. Even though it was a little bit of a struggle for me to watch him like actually pull a trigger, because this is one of the few times we've seen him like off somebody himself, outside of Ray Ray, I guess.
Well, if you kill your father, I guess.
Right.
And Ghost. Yeah. So yeah, that was a big one. But I guess it's different because like it was like we seen the justification behind Ghost, we seen the hatred, and it was kind of like him and Jabari didn't have that bad of a relationship up until the point where it was like, oh, too much, gotta go.
Well,
so it was just very like it seems super ruthless.
Well, the same situation happened with Tasha when she was backed into a corner with Keisha. When she went over there, she had no intention on killing Lakeisha. Lakeisha ran for the gun. They fought for the gun, and then when she was wounded, Tasha had to finish her. Like she was put in a position where she had to kill Lakeisha.
I agree.
And you know what I think it is though? I think it's because we talked about this off screen too, but we've watched Tariq grow up in front of our eyes on camera. So to watch him become this monster, it's like not little, like we all hated him, of course, over the previous Power, but to see him just making this choice to be in this life, it's like not little Tariq.
I know.
So it's just different.
It was also interesting that one of our spotters mentioned the fact that, in fact, she was saying, how can we say that Tariq lived a privileged life growing up when his parents were so deceitful and were drugged?
Because he was rich. He didn't grow up in the hood like they did. When I say privilege, that's what we mean. I mean, like, he's gone to the best schools. He has the best opportunities. Like Kanan and Ghost and Tommy did not have those opportunities.
No, and that's my point, because every family is dysfunctional. There is no perfect family, but when we mean privilege, we're talking about having the ability to get what you want when you want it, having all the things that you need at your feet. That's what we call privilege. I think she
live in a penthouse in Tribeca with an elevator. Yeah. Like that is privilege.
Yeah,
that is privilege.
Yeah, I thought her point was, I understood her point, but I think she missed the mark on privilege.
Mm-hmm. And I have a tweet that I wanted to read from a spotter, because they had the privilege of communicating with Tommy Joseph Shakur. And I thought this was like pivotal for explaining Tommy's rationale. So the spotter, Nathan, he tweeted Joseph Shakur, who plays Tommy, and says, that last bit of convo with Tariq, was that genuine hate, as in we're done, or was that a subliminal you can never compare to your dad? And Joseph responded, the subliminal of what was going on behind my eyes is more, at least somebody was taking care of him. Meaning that at least he is left with a family, because despite everything, I think Tommy still loves Tariq.
He's got to.
Yeah.
He's got to. And I like Tommy's when he said to Tariq, your father told me not to kill you. And I know everything in him probably wants to kill him. But it just says something about Tommy that I will always love.
That goes with his brother. And then, I mean, the stuff that he was saying to Tariq too was on point. Like when he said, she's the only one I have. He was like, well, whose fault is that? Like, and that's real. Like, you killed your father. Like, that didn't have to be the only person that you have. Like, these circumstances Tariq created.
Yeah.
Brought it all on himself.
Yeah.
So, do you guys have any other closing remarks you want to add or any predictions for next season? Nope. I guess not. I guess we kind of covered it.
I feel like my prediction for Carrie, I think she's going to find Jabari's manuscript, and then she's going to be Nancy Drew, and she's going to be trying to find out what happened to Jabari, and she might find out some stuff about Tariq, and she might get off. What's the other thing I wanted to say about? Okay, Carrie, that was my main thing. Yeah, I think that's my main prediction for season 2.
Okay. Well, I see a rift between Lorenzo and Monet.
Mm-hmm.
I see a big rift coming, and it's going to be a defining moment within this series.
I think he's going to go too. I think she's going to get rid of him.
Yeah.
I'll add that we didn't bring up, and I'll keep it brief. I feel like Tariq kind of set Braden up a little bit with that last comment about Riley.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of sent them back over there like, yo, I already know, she's good people. Go do what you're going to do. He was testing the waters on that because I think he already knew what he was going to do. And I think that that's going to be something to fall out in the next season. I think that just overall, I think that you can see the trajectory from where they're going. I don't think predictions are almost unnecessary because they already kind of laid out what's coming next. I think it's more about wait and see exactly how they do it, but you already got the gist of where they're setting these characters up for.
Good point. LaWanda, you got anything you want to add?
I was saying maybe what is his name? Santana, Laz Alonso character gets a bigger role because he's now going to be investigating 2 campus-related murders. So we'll see. And Carrie is going to be the weak link in this.
You're right. I thought about that because Tariq was technically the last person to see Jabari. So he was looking at Tariq as he left the room. So best believe he's going to be interviewing Tariq.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. My only prediction is in terms of Kane, I think I see him getting pulled back into the family, but reluctantly, only because of the circumstances. But I think that with Tariq's help, Kane might be able to redeem himself. Hopefully they can work together. I think Kane still is going to be hesitant to want to, take any direction from Tariq. But they might end up being a good team if Kane plays his cards right. But more than likely he won't. So I don't see, Kane letting up from his destructive behavior. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. I'm definitely looking forward to them releasing a statement saying that, PowerBook 2 has a new release date. I know they haven't started filming, definitely not this soon, but I look forward to season 2. So overall, good job to everyone involved with bringing this together. I think that it was a solid spinoff. Spinoffs are hard, especially when you're comparing it to the original. So it was solid for what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Kudos to Courtney and the writers' room.
Yes, and the young talent, like Woody McClain played Kane. I thought he did his thing. He really did his thing. A lot of the young actors, Lavelle Adams played Drew and Lauren and Diana and all of them. Effie, the young talent really showed out too.
And the cinematography was good too. I felt compelled to be drawn into the show because of the cinematography. So for the technical guys that that don't get any kind of accolades, I want to give them some because it's a hard thing to do. So, kudos to the whole team.
Yep. Well, I just want to thank everyone for watching. Hopefully you've had a chance by now to view our thank you video that we put out a few days ago. Just thanking everyone, especially our guests and everyone who views our shows weekly. We just wanted to put something out thanking you guys for your viewership and your support. It definitely means a lot to us. And we are just wanted to send out a little message of gratitude to you guys for helping us have a great year. despite, all of the difficulties were going on, the Spot Real Talk really flourished in 2020. So thank you guys so much. Please make sure that you subscribe and like this video. Also click the notification bell so that you get alerted when we post another video. And then also follow us online at the Spot Real Talk. We are on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You guys have anything else to add last minute?
Well said.
What about to get to know us thing?
Oh, yeah. So we are also throwing this idea around of, putting out videos that let you guys know us personally. So you can ask us questions and let us know what you want to know about us. And then we'll individually go through and answer your questions. If you have anything you want to ask, if you want to get to know us on a personal level, we would definitely be interested in letting you guys get to know us as people and as individuals. So if you are interested in that, drop some questions down in the comment section and let us know, what things you want us to answer. And also let us know what you thought about this season of PowerBook 2 as a whole, your predictions, your comments about this episode. We love reading everything you guys have to say. So thanks a lot. And until next time, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yo, this is about to really hurt some people's feelings. So if you a little sensitive, you might as well turn this joint off right now. Okay?
How you afraid to drop a dime when you already dropped a dime? Got a wife at home, but you steady on my line. Talking about shorty, you remember when I grind slow? Did I really blow your mind though? Nah, you got me confused with your other booze. I've been peep game, so I never gave a cookie up. And that's why I got your wife on the line, man. And I hope she gets every single diamond ring. Niggas kill me, they put their fist up. Got you all thinking that they meant